Guys, what's up? It's TheThirdKnight here, and welcome to episode 6 of my player versus enemy series. I have a lot of footage this episode. It is absolutely jam-packed, so whether you are listening while you slay, or whatever you're doing on RuneScape, I really hope you enjoy. To begin with, I have made a decent amount of money from the 50 medium and 50 hard clue scroll rewards videos. Those videos are the videos I uploaded most recently, so if you've not checked those videos out yet, I will link them in the description below. But otherwise now I'm going to start talking about them, so I will sort of blurt out some spoilers. So if you just want to skip to the end of those videos to quickly see the summary, that's cool. Otherwise just feel free to just keep listening, and I'll just sort of talk about those rewards a tiny bit, because all of those rewards of course will contribute towards the money I make in the series to buy items from the Armory. But basically, I did not get any standout rewards like your Ranger Boots or your Third Age, but I did manage to get some Zami Pages and other moderately priced items such as your sort of Saradomin D-Hide and other D-Hide, and just some other random items like the Croziers and everything. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. But you know, it was some okay moderately priced items, so that was actually pretty awesome. I actually did make a fair amount of money. They were all definitely worth doing. So a lot of the random items like the boaters or the iron plate legs trimmed, you see me selling in the footage on screen, that's just from those clue scrolls. On top of all the clue scroll reward items, I also collected a bunch of black masks. I think it ended up being around 10 or 11 black masks that I collected. I've also been going back to cave horrors and sort of AFKing them whenever I've had the chance to AFK on RuneScape, but not actually, you know, do any bossing or just anything else, just only AFK, because they are fairly decent for AFKing. You know, you didn't need to set up a cannon or whatever, and you could get a black mask here and there, so I did get a few extra black masks, as you'll see towards the end of the video. But I didn't keep track of all of the black masks like I probably should have during the clue scroll rewards videos, but I did get a bunch of them. And although I sort of did actually get a bit under average amount of black masks compared to the ratio of clue scrolls, usually there's about 1 black mask per every 2 clue scrolls. That's sort of the average, maybe slightly less than that. I sort of went fairly well below that average, but that said, I still, you know, got some pretty good money from cave horrors while I was doing those clue scrolls. So on the whole, I'm not really complaining. But yeah, basically, I'll just be cycling through all of the player versus enemy series footage I've collected in order since last episode. I think it works best this way because you can sort of see how I've mixed things up, and you know, it sort of shows how I play Old School RuneScape at the moment. And I really do try and mix up the player versus enemy content as much as possible, because the aim of these videos is essentially to have as much different player versus enemy content as possible. It's not just me killing one boss over and over and over again. It's not the most efficient player versus enemy way of getting all the items that I want. It's, you know, sort of what I feel like at the time, and sort of keeps things mixed up and interesting. And it's really cool just to check out all the different aspects of the game, you know, regardless of whether I'm going to Kalphite Queen, which I did end up doing, as you'll sort of see towards the end of this video or later on in the video. But you know, it's not necessarily the best value boss at the moment. I would really love to see the Kalphite Queen, and same with a lot of other players, as I've seen on the Old School RuneScape live streams, that would want, you know, the Kalphite Queen drop table updated. You know, it's not the best. It's not really worth it unless you get sort of lucky, or you at least hit the averages for the dragon chain body drops and other drops like that. Oh wait, no, the dragon two-hand is not worth anything, so you'd be pretty unlucky to get that. But yeah, basically, it's just for fun, and it's really cool to sort of mix those up. And of course, there is a lot of bank to be made still. There is a lot of really great bossing and everything where you can make a crap load of money. So it's just fun to mix it all up. Most of the PKing clips are also very, very tragic, because I was getting a bit unlucky with the RNG. But at the same time, you know, that's just how PKing goes sometimes. So I'll definitely keep that for the end, I think. In between all of that, you have other random items I've sold from anything player versus enemy, whether it's, you know, Venenatis loot I received while killing with another YouTuber called Autumn Elegy. Definitely linking his channel in the description below if you want to check him out. We did manage to get a 100 noted Snapdragon herb drop from Venenatis, which we split, so that was pretty decent. That was a good chunk of cash. Really nice to see that epic drop from the wilderness boss. Definitely made it worth it. But at the time, we were going for the new rings, and unfortunately, we did not see any. But you know, it was good fun anyway, and you know, it was really cool to kill Venenatis. I'm not sure if it's been updated since we were killing it, but that was probably about 3 months ago. So it may have been updated, but I'm not sure if it has. But it was fairly easy to kill in a trio. In fact, you know, it was very easy. Mind you, you know, we're all, you know, I was 70 ranged, and I was sort of leeching. The other 2 guys there were sort of quite high ranged. And we're also using Vengeance. We're casting Vengeance on the tank to keep, damage flowing onto the boss. But, that strategy was fairly effective, and so it was good fun. And oh yeah, I almost forgot. We were also going for elite clue scrolls there, and I did manage to get my first ever elite clue, which was pretty cool. I think one of the other guys managed to get their first elite clue scroll. I'm not sure if it was their first, might have been their second. But basically, I had all the requirements, thankfully, and I ended up getting a Fury ornamental kit. So it was not bad at all for my first elite clue reward. I ended up selling that for around 800k or 1 mil, I can't quite remember, but it was not bad compared to what a lot of other people have gotten, and I've seen a lot of terrible elite clue scroll rewards around YouTube, so I was pretty happy with that. I also did a bit of bounty hunter PKing. I wasn't doing any crazy risks as of yet. I definitely want to do that sort of stuff a bit later, but I just wanted to test it out and, see what the new bounty hunter was like. It was pretty good. It was a lot of fun. Definitely want to keep doing that and I just really want to do a lot more of that in the future. It was pretty cool. Besides the fact that you get a lot of people that log out on you, it was pretty good and it all worked pretty well. And sometimes, it is kind of fair enough when people log out. It's like, you might be level 106 combat and you might get a guy who's like level 100, and even though that's 6 combat levels, those combat levels mean a heck of a lot, so I can sort of understand most of that. Anyway, you may have seen on a recent video I was talking about the server lag on Old School RuneScape. I did almost lose my whip at one point when I was checking out Bounty Hunter, so that was a bit freaky. I wouldn't have wanted to have lost it to the server lag as I talked about in that video, but I'm not going to talk about that too much more. But that was by no means the worst of it. It had been a while since I'd been PKing previously. It'd probably been about 3 months since I'd been on and been PKing. And, I was up a few combat levels since the last time I've been PKing. So I did sort of have some interesting incidents. I definitely, basically it consisted of me, firstly, just being a bit out of practice. But I think more than anything else, I just had some really unlucky fights, which does happen from time to time in PKing. As, essentially a large part of it is random number generated, RNG. You'll see some of that in the footage of me getting absolutely wrecked towards the end of the video. But, the most annoying part of it all, and the noobiest thing I've done in a long time on RuneScape, was one night when I forgot to go and pick up my Rune Defender, and more importantly, my Fighter Torso up off the ground after I died. So, yes, good fight. I lost my Fighter Torso due to me just plain forgetting to go and go back to Edgy and pick it back up. The Rune Defender wasn't much of a problem as I had my Addy Defender sitting in the bank, so I just went to the Warriors Guild and, smashed out a bunch of Rune Defenders. But the Fighter Torso is definitely regrettable and I miss it a lot already. Now, while there was a bit of doom and gloom, I did manage to get some nice PKs. Well, I only got 2 PKs. Well, to come to think of it, I probably only got one sort of nice PK that I was sort of proud of, which was a D-Heroic PK, which once again, you'll see all of that stuff at the end of the video. And while I did lose my Fighter Torso to a stupid noob mistake, it has now given me a solid idea and foundation and reason and motivation to make a fully fledged Old School RuneScape Barbarian Assault Guide. I had mentioned making a Barbie Assault Guide ages ago, but I never got around to doing it, so I really wanted to make that now. It'll definitely be a really hard guide to make. I'm sure it'll probably be the hardest guide I've ever made and probably the hardest guide I would ever make because there are just a huge number of hidden strategies within Barbarian Assault. And on top of that, I would really love to detail every single one of them, of course. But it's going to be difficult to find a dedicated team to probably teach me or reteach me sort of the stuff that I've forgotten, or at least just to help me run through the waves so I can, put it all together and get examples set up and everything that would, help for the video. I know that there's, I think, at least one Old School RuneScape clan that is dedicated to Barbarian Assault and sort of an elite sort of Barbarian Assault clan, so I might be able to work something out with them. That would be really awesome, but otherwise we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I can PM a few older players that I've had on my friends list for a while who I used to do a lot of Barbarian Assault with. There are definitely a huge number of hidden tactics. But basically, there are a lot of players in the game that don't actually know all the hidden tactics, which is obviously understandable, and a lot of people who just have no idea what to do at Barbarian Assault. But I'll be giving the guide all my best, just to try and work everything out. I'll definitely try and do an amazing job with that and try and cover all of the tactics that I can, because there is a lot of really cool stuff in the minigame. It's actually a very cool minigame, besides the defender role where you can't actually 100% of the time kill all of the runners that go past. There is a bit of RNG with that. But you know, I don't want to just get this fighter torso. I want to make the detailed guide. Because hey, you know, there's a lot of people in the game that don't actually understand Barbarian Assault, and as a result, don't go and get a fighter torso. They might just wait to get a BCP, which is fair enough. A lot of times that might actually be faster because you don't have to put up with randoms, you have to relearn anything. But if I actually make this guide, it might be faster to get the fighter torso, and fighter torso is very, very useful in a lot of different situations. So yeah, that'll be really cool, and it'll just be awesome to have a guide for everyone to use and finally have that done. Anyway, so that is something I really want to work on amongst many, many, many things. And I think that guide would take the longest out of any guide I've ever made. So I'm not sure how quickly I could have that done. And I can't really commit and say that I'll actually get it done just yet, because I really do need to find a lot of other players that are going to help with that, or you know, at least a dedicated team, and sort of maybe at least get a few other old friends on board before I can really commit to it, because it will be a very difficult thing to get sort of completely fully detailed and outlined in the guide that I really want. You know, I'm all for quality over quantity, and I'm all for just making as fast, short, snappy guides that are just full of all the details that you need. That's definitely the style that I'm after here. So, you know, anyway, I think before I go back to PKing, whether it's in Bounty Hunter or in PvP worlds or just in the wilderness, just moving on from the the Barbarian Assault guide stuff, I definitely want to level up some more stats and, you know, get more equipped for it all. For a start, I wouldn't mind getting 99 hit points and 99 strength and sort of at least 90 attack. I'm 1 level off 99 hit points at the moment, 6 levels off 99 strength, and I think I'm around 7 or 8 off 90 attack. Now, the reason I want to do this is at the moment, I think my account is a bit of a low level for the builds of players I am currently fighting consistently. I also really want to get a fire cape at some stage, and I'll obviously be getting my fighter torso back, and maybe even a fighter hat if that's worth it. But for now, with 70 range, I could also do Jad. You know, I could easily do Jad with 70 range. Heaps of people do it with less, and you know, less defense and less hit points and all that stuff. And although I'm no pro with Jad, you know, I'm going to put it out there straight away, I'm definitely not a pro with Jad. I should be able to get it easily enough. I'm not a complete noob when it comes to Jad. I should be able to kill him easy. I shouldn't die. But I'm definitely no pro. When I say I'm no pro, I should get it first try. But you know, that said, I haven't gotten too many fire capes in my day, so I'm definitely not on par with Bodhi or Spark Mac or someone else who has done it, you know, many, many, many more times. I just, you know, just to put it in perspective a little, I'm not a crazy Jad guy. I've not gotten a huge amount of fire capes in my day, but I've been getting them consistently, and I've only died a few times out of probably about 10 fire capes in total across my RS career. It's really not many fire capes. But the main problem I have with Jad, at least at the moment with my current range level, is it would just take freaking ages. I don't know what it is. You know, in reality, it's probably only like an hour or like 40 minutes to 60 minutes of time to really get a fire cape, but I don't know what it is. I just get really bored at Jad just doing all the waves before Jad. The wave with Jad is great fun. It's absolutely awesome, but the waves before is just like, just get it over with, because, you know, I can just get through all those. I can get through all those easily, absolutely fine. It's all about the Jad wave, of course, and it's just such a grind and so boring. I don't know what it is, but I just find that really boring. So I might actually wait until I get like 90 plus range to do that, just so I can absolutely freaking hoon through it. But we'll see. You know, leveling my attack, strength, and HP will definitely be on the top of my priority. But after that, I'll see where I stand and maybe get a fire cape if I'm looking like a complete peasant without it. But I'm sure that, you know, I'll get the motivation to sit through the 62 boring waves of fight caves eventually. But yeah, we'll just see how that goes. So yeah, I've definitely got some work to do with that. You know, just getting my account up to scratch for PKing, and I'm really looking forward to doing some D-Heroic fights and stuff when I do get some higher stats, and I am sort of closer to my goal of being a max Barrows Pure, if you can call it a Barrows Pure. But anyway, I'm motivated with all of that. And another thing that I'm really motivated with besides PKing is the other half of the series, which of course is PVM. I'm really keen to get bossing with some other like-minded people and similar leveled players. So when I get 110 combat, which is going to be around 90 attack and 99 hit points, I will be joining a level 110 plus combat clan. I'll probably be staying in there until, you know, I get a higher combat, but that would only be after if I decided to change from Varus Pure to like a max main or something like that, but that'll be a absolutely long way off. I don't think I'd ever change anyway, but we'll just see how it goes. Anyway, basically I looked on the forums and I looked and found what looks like a fairly decent PVM clan, which is just 110 plus combat level requirement. I may share the name of it in the future, or you might be able to find it in the footage or whatever and work it out. But, for now, while I'm new and just checking things out, I'll just keep a bit of a low key. But so far it seems really good. And they have a really good system of splitting loot. And the main thing is just, going along to bossing and stuff with trustable players who are going to be there. If you disconnect, they'll pick up your items and, just general stuff like that you don't want to get BS'd by when you just join a random pack of people and go bossing and splitting loot and stuff, especially. At the end of the day, people could run off with that stuff regardless of being in a clan or not, but the main thing is just sort of to be friendly and work all that stuff out through the system they've got set up, which I think is fairly reasonable, and they all seem like trustable guys. So so I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually really looking forward to that because I haven't been able to go to Godwars Dungeon yet, and that'll really provide a great opportunity to do that. So the sooner I get those attack levels, and I'll definitely get the hit points level through those attack levels, it'll be really great, and I'll finally be able to get into some Godwars Dungeon as well as some other bossing more consistently than just sort of doing solos of a limited number of bosses that are probably more low level and sort of more boring to watch. Speaking of some solo bosses, I had a task of Kalphites recently, and yes, you guessed it, as I talked about earlier as well, I have been soloing some Kalphite Queens as part of that task. All of the monsters have not necessarily been Kalphite Queens. I have killed a few other Kalphite soldiers and stuff while I've been down there just to sort of lower it a little bit, because I don't want to do the entire task. I think it was like 160 something or at least 150 something Kalphites, and that is a lot of Kalphite Queens to be doing, like especially at my level. I'm not maxed and I don't have brilliant gear for it all. But basically, I've just been getting one kill each trip. Each trip is one sip of a super set, as well as super anti-poison, maybe 1 to 2 prayer potions, and a super energy, as well as just then a full inventory of sharks. And I guess I'd use a player-owned house teleport tab. So it's not, it's not a great amount of loss per kill. And if I got a dragon chain, still got a lot more killing to do as of this stage in the video. And I'll definitely be getting onto that before finishing the video. So if I get a D chain later on, then it could definitely be worth it, but it all just depends on your luck with that sort of thing. It could be decent money. It just really all depends on your luck. If you hit the average dragon chain body drop rate, I think it's 1 in 50 kills, then you'd probably be making a decent enough profit, or at least a little bit of profit, or maybe breaking even. But otherwise, as currently with my luck, as I've not yet gone to dragon chain, then you'll probably just break even, or maybe just run it at a bit of a loss. But the main thing is, it's just fun. It mixes things up from the regular Slayer task you may be training on. Now, the funniest part of when I went to Kalphite Queen to do my first kill is basically, I just received a Kalphite Queen head drop. First kill. Never had that drop, I don't believe, in the main game, and it was just, it was very cool to see a unique drop straight away. But, other than that, I've just, I've just been trolled with rune chains and red dragonhide bodies. I mean, they look so ridiculously similar to the dragon chain body. This is how it goes. You kill the Kalphite Queen, it's like, all right, I'm not going to think about getting a dragon chain because, I want to keep that off my head. I want to be realistic, stay realistic here. Oh my gosh, chain body! Oh, it's a rune chain body. And then it's like, oh my gosh, it's a dragon chain! Oh, it's a red dragonhide body on the ground that looks like it. And it's very tragic and it absolutely sucks sometimes. But at the same time, it's all good fun. And Jagex like to put in drops like that, even if it's a bit frustrating. But no, it's all good fun. And it hasn't been too harsh on the suppliers. It's definitely cool. I'll definitely be continuing with that and killing the Kalphite Queen as much as possible until the task is done. It would be really cool to get the pet. The pet looks freaking awesome, apparently. And it would be even cooler to get a dragon chain body drop. Never got a dragon chain body drop, especially solo from Kalphite Queen. And there are some cool methods to soloing it as well. Obviously, I'm not high level. I don't have super high defense. Well, I'm a moderate level. 93 strength, like 82 or 83 attack, like 70 defense. Just in Verax, it's not like pro gear or anything. It's not like Bandos or something. But it is, it is cool. It is some sort of consistent boss skills, and it's really cool to be able to solo it. But it'd be really cool as well if you know, there was some updates to the Kalphite Queen, or at least one update. I think there's the kill counter at the Godwars Dungeon bosses. You know, you can count how many Godwars Dungeon bosses you killed, and that's just universal. That keeps going every time you go back. It's going to be, you know, 1+ to everything else you've done for every boss you kill. So it'd be really great to have a Kalphite Queen boss counter. I'm surprised it's not in the game, to be honest. It would be really, like, it seems like something that'd be quite easy to implement because they already have a lot of the other stuff. It's definitely something that I've seen suggested on the Old School RuneScape live streams, and it would also be really cool along with that to have the Kalphite Queen drop table updated, because at the moment some of the drops are just really not worth coming along for. I mean, I'm doing it all for fun, but a lot of other people, like, you know, that'll only last so long for a lot of people. You know, I'll be happy to do like 100 kills or something there. I'd be happy to do maybe more, but you know, when you sort of get past that, it then turns into sort of a more pointless boss in terms of the money. You might be losing money going there. In reality, it's probably not worth doing for more than, you know, 100 kills or whatever if you want to make money. I mean, you can get like 3 water skin filled with like 4 slots of water or whatever it's called as a drop, and that's kind of ridiculous considering how much food and everything you have to go through, and you know, considering it has a 100% accuracy with its magic and ranged attacks. But anyway, luckily I've not been, you know, wanting to come solely for the drops, but for now I'll have to try and manually keep track of how many Kalphite Queens I've killed just for personal interest. And yeah, as I said, the Old School RuneScape development team actually did get asked a question about the Kalphite Queen being updated, and they just said that it was something that they'd thought about, and I believe it's probably going to happen in the future. But there's nothing set in stone as of yet, and I'm sure they're working on a lot of other cool, more exciting updates, which I'll be more than happy with. And you know, it's not a big deal if it doesn't get updated, at least for the immediate future and stuff. It's definitely something that'd be cool to see in the future. Speaking of the Old School RuneScape development team, one of the things I mentioned in episode 5 was how I had a Scorpion task from the Nubius Slayer Master in Birthrope or whatever it is, while I was farming Slayer points for my Slayer mask. And I tweeted ModJohnC, and I asked if you would be able to kill the wilderness boss called Scorpia, and whether that would count towards your Slayer task. And yes, it does. So there is a little bit of RuneScape trivia for you. I'm not really sure if anyone's going to actually bother trying to get that as a task, just so that you can sort of kill Scorpia or whatever. But, you know, you never know. It might come in handy one day. You know, for example, if you were farming points for the Slayer mask or whatever, and you did get that same task, I'm sure then it might... Oh, wait, no. Then it's kind of pointless. I mean, you could use the black mask, but then you wouldn't have the Slayer helm at that point. So yeah, anyway, but you know, it's just cool. It's a cool little fact anyway. It's very cool that it's just possible to kill the boss and, you know, complete the task, even though it's just a really newbie task. Moving on, guys, I've finished university for the rest of the year, so now I have holidays until university starts up again next year, which hopefully will be my last year before graduating. So I am super happy at the moment. I have a lot of things I want to get done throughout the holidays, which includes going away for a decent amount of time, but I will also have a huge amount of time to play Scape amongst other video games, so I am really looking forward to that. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So expect to see some awesome new videos coming your way very soon. While I'm currently recording this commentary, I am also downloading the Halo Master Chief Collection onto my brand new Xbox One, which I bought yesterday. So for those of you who don't know, I am a massive fan of the Halo series, namely Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, Halo Wars, and Halo Reach. I am very much into the first-person shooter genre of games, and more specifically Twitch arena shooters. So games like your Quake, Doom, Counter-Strike, Open Arena, Halo, of course, just to name a few, are the types of games that I spend a lot of time on when I'm not on RuneScape. So there is a possibility of some videos covering some of the Master Chief Collection coming out in the next week or so. If any of you guys have anything specifically you might want to see from that side of things, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I will try my very best to get it for you. But yeah, I'm really hyped for the launch of Master Chief Collection. It's going to be freaking awesome. There's a huge amount of early gaming memories that, you know, my first gaming experiences, not my first gaming experiences, but a lot of early gaming memories came from Halo 1, 2, and 3, and it's going to be really great to revisit it. To put it into the perspective of some of you guys who maybe didn't ever really get into Halo, the launch of the Master Chief Collection is very similar to when Old School RuneScape first came out. There's a lot of nostalgia and old mechanics that many people have desired to see once again, and for a very long time, and that is finally going to happen, so it's going to be very exciting to see. And yeah, I really can't wait till that happens. It's going to be coming out in at the time, it's 4:35 p.m. Monday. It's going to be coming out in about 8 hours for me, and I'm super hyped for that, so it'll be freaking awesome. Anyway, sorry I got off track a little bit there. It is time to take a look at the Armory from last episode and show you guys what new items I have bought with player versus enemy lootations I have obtained since episode 5. As you can see on screen, I have made some okay progress with the series on the whole. I have mostly obtained quest or minigame related items and spells. Ice Barrage and Vengeance was of course obtained through Nightmare Zone. I didn't buy that with, heaps of money spent on runes or anything like some people would expect, or at least alching runes. And the Barrows, Gloves, and Nezi Helm, of course I got through questing. I'm beginning to make a little dent on some of the other items, but basically from now on, besides the Void and the Fire Cape, it will all be about really just making some serious bank, going along to Godwars Dungeon and stuff. Hopefully we'll be doing that soon with the clan. That'll be absolutely awesome. But yeah, it's really time to start thinking about the more expensive items listed in the Armory and really start nailing some of this stuff, because I've been playing Old School now for over a year or whatever. I mean, I haven't been on very much at all. It'll be interesting to see how much time I've spent on the account when that update actually hits Old School, where you'll be able to check that stuff, because that is going to be pulled eventually, according to their live streams and everything. But yeah, I haven't been playing for like a solid year or anything, but it would be really awesome to get some of those items. Anyway, now I have a slight conundrum, and that is of course that I did lose my fighter torso in this episode due to me being a freaking noob. So yeah, I no longer have that item. I guess I will have it grayed out again until I get it back, and hopefully I will launch the Barbarian Assault Guide at the same time. But that's a little disappointing, but no risk, no reward. So that's all just part of the game. That's all just part of the fun of it. And hey, now I'm going to make a Barbarian Assault Guide, hopefully. And so it'll probably be even better for you guys that I ended up actually losing that fighter torso. This episode I managed to get a Carol's top and bottom, which I used at Cave Horrors, and I certainly got my return on any repairs I had to use while camped there. Also, just to put it out there, I spent so much time at Cave Horrors because I was AFKing them a lot. I was, of course, there to get 50 hard clue scrolls for that special video I made, but now that I finished that goal, I've just been AFKing there because it's, better to AFK there, get some XP, as well as a fair bit of cash, to be completely honest. Not really bad spot to AFK, and it's, you pretty much just have to click once every sort of 1 minute 30. That's the time I was sort of going by. Yeah, so I also got a bunch of black mass, of course, and snapdragon seeds and some other varieties of seeds, which is kind of cool. And that has mostly just been towards the end of the university semester because I've just been AFKing there because I've just been working on uni work and doing other things. So it's better than nothing, and so that's why I've been doing so much. I'm not doing it because I love it. It would be pretty boring if I really enjoyed that, because it would just be the same thing over and over again. Anyway, so yes, I got the Carol top and bottom. Also bought a Varrock helm, brassard, and flail, which I used at the Kalphite Queen, and so now I have the full set of Varrocks, which is quite nice. I sold a lot of items you may have seen earlier on in the video. Those were mostly clue scroll rewards, although I did sell some black masks as well. I still have a lot of clue scroll rewards and other random items worth just a little bit, but not enough to really make an offer on Zybez and meet up and go through all that process. So I'm really looking forward to the trading post update. Even if it's just like Zybez in-game, I think it will be much easier to sell those types of items. I'm really looking forward to a lot of the upcoming updates, to be completely honest. It's very exciting watching the live streams and just hearing the developers talking about all the updates. They're all very well planned out and they're very thorough with all their testing and stuff, so it's really cool to see. It's really cool they're tracking all the statistics and they can sort of give us updates even through Twitter, not Fitter, just to hear about, for example, when the Coral Beast came out, what John C was, tweeting people how many LEs have been dropped and added to the game. So it's really cool to have that sort of feedback and be able to actually talk like one-on-one with a developer of such a popular video game. And yeah, it's really awesome they do that. So of course the trading post is going to be exciting. Of course the new continent is going to be amazing. That's obviously a long way off, but there's a load of other updates that are going to be coming up within the next few months, which are also really exciting. So I have already talked about a lot this episode, so I'll save all of that. I'll save a discussion for the upcoming content for episode 7, I think. But yeah, lots of stuff to talk about with that. It's going to be really cool to discuss it. So I sold all of the most expensive loot from Cave Horrors, and I bought a Berserker Ring and an Amulet of Fury, as you may have just seen on screen. First up, I bought the Berserker Ring because it would be a nice upgrade from the Warriors Ring, which is what I'd been using when AFKing at Cave Horrors. and at least for the immediate future, or when I AFK something, I'll be likely going back to Cave Horrors, so that should help out a little bit. I will also go and imbue the Berserker Ring and my Slayer Helm at Nightmare Zone soon, and then I will just be absolutely pimping in my sweet gear, strolling the streets of Varrock, and everybody will just be like, oh man, gotta follow that guy. Not really, they won't even notice. I will just be a little peasant, but I'm slowly moving up from being a complete peasant to a mildly more upgraded, less peasant-like peasant, but still peasant enough to be peasant. You will see on screen where I am at now, so plenty to do yet, but making some good progress, and I really look forward to getting into some serious bossing, hopefully for next episode. I will also be revising the Armory before next episode to ensure that the updates that have come about, while I've been finishing up at university in FK and Cave Horrors, just to make sure I haven't missed out on any items that will be really beneficial for PVM and player versus player. Yeah, I just want to make sure about that. I've been following pretty much, well, most of the updates, almost all the updates. I always like to stay in the know with what's being included into the game, what's being added and everything. But there is a chance that there's a recent amulet that's been added. I think that's possibly the only thing. Oh, and of course, Corporal Beast. Wouldn't mind some of those shields. And I've definitely not forgotten about my previous goal of getting 100 to 200 crazed archaeologist kills and some other little extra player versus enemy goals I've set along the way. I just ran out of time to complete all of those for this episode, and also I of course have made some more progress on the hit list. I killed the Kalphite Queen quite a bit, along with the Wilderness Spider boss with 2 other mates, Venenatis. So there are some nice little achievements along the way in this episode, although I definitely have a ways to go yet. This series is only really just getting started, and as I begin to come closer to encountering some even more deadly bosses with some epic loot, hopefully. Anyway, that's it for this episode, guys. Sorry it's taken so long. I really look forward to including some epic things for next episode, which will be bigger and better. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.